Welcome to HomeFront Sitrep. I hope you're in for a great show today, because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe yours.
You can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also check out HomeFront Sitrep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting.
Out on the edge of the battle and back, we've carried the weight and we've walked every track. From desert dust to the fire at home, we've learned how to fight, how to stand alone. But no one tells you what comes after the war, when silence is louder than the guns we bore. That's where we speak, that's where we heal, with stories too real for Hollywood reels. Welcome to the front lines you don't always see, when warriors to battle just differently. This is our check-in, our voice, our step. This is the HomeFront Sitrep podcast. For the fallen, the fighting, and those who came home, for the brothers and sisters who still feel alone, we're holding the line with truth and respect. This is the HomeFront Sitrep podcast. For the fallen, the fighting, and those who came home, for the brothers and sisters who still feel alone, we're holding the line with truth and respect. This is the HomeFront Sitrep podcast. It ain't all medals and waving flags. There's pain in the silence and weight in the facts. But we've got a mic and a mission to share, to tell the damn truth, cause somebody's gotta care. We laugh, we cry, we cuss, we pray. We honor the ones who ain't here today. From basic to battle and back to the block, this is our rhythm, our round table talk. Welcome to the front lines you don't always see, when warriors to battle just differently. This is our check-in, our voice, our step. This is the HomeFront Sitrep podcast. Still heavy in dreams out of reach, full of lessons the textbooks could never teach. We're sounding off, no filter, no prep. This is the HomeFront Sitrep podcast. So if you've worn the boots or love someone who did, if you swallowed your hurt and kept it all hid, pull up a chair, you're not alone. Welcome to the front lines you don't always see, where courage meets scars and raw honesty. This is our anthem, our truth intercept. This is the HomeFront Sitrep podcast. For the ones still standing and those we've lost yet, for every single story we'll never forget. We speak so others won't forget. This is the HomeFront Sitrep podcast. Real talk, real facts, real life. HomeFront Sitrep podcast, where the mission continues.
Welcome, everybody, to a Sunday edition of HomeFront Sitrep. How is everybody doing? Gunny, how are you, sir?
Good, man. Tired. A lot of yard work today, so I did some thatching, if you will, and then some raking, and then I made the boys get their butts out of bed this morning and clean up the nasty grass and haul it down back and dump it in the woods. But yeah, then man, just last night had a going away party ish. He doesn't leave for another 2 or 3 weeks, but he's heading over to Europe for 3 years to head up a very important position, a hard to get position within Europol. So excited for him and excited to go over in June and see him. I told him, you've got 9 months to find a boat captain for me for when I come over. But then we left Georgetown, came up the highway here, and we got just before Crittenden. And April's like, "Oh shoot!" I'm like, "What?" I forgot to close the tab.
Oh hell!
So back to Georgetown we go. We had 33 minutes to make it to the restaurant. I will tell you, I made it with 10 minutes to spare.
Oh man, my wife would have been screaming at me, "Slow down!"
So she usually does. Anything usually above 82-ish, she gets on me. But with the company that we were heading to, I don't think I was going to have an issue with anything. But yeah, and then man, I got some stuff this week here local. Got to jump on Wednesday. in Ironton, Ohio, so down the river a little bit, or up the river, however you want to look at it. So right across the road from Ashland, across the river from Ashland. And then Friday, take off to San Antonio. And then, I don't know, it's an hour plus ride, 2 hour ride to Coleman to the lodge. And it's bow fishing time, baby.
Heck yeah,
Friday,
man.
Saturday. Sunday during the show, unfortunately, I'm going to be in an airport. My first flight leaves at 6:30 from San Antonio. So I'll have an earbud in and I'll be listening to that first, half hour or so while I board the plane. But after that, you're gonna lose me.
You're gonna be radio silent for a
Yeah,
little
man.
bit. Frank says, Mr. Deeds, I had walleye for dinner last night.
Mm, mm. I got a ton of it still in my freezer. So
Mm.
we're gonna feed. So we got the I think 2 or 3 teams from 375 coming in for this year's Mogadishu Mile, and the guys usually take them fishing, down on the lake for do some crappie fishing, and we try to send fish back with them. It's been sparse the past few weeks, man. So hopefully the weather cools down and the crappie stop moving like they're supposed to. But I'm gonna take a bunch of walleye down so they can have a good fish fry for the guys that are coming in and the boat captains that are volunteering their time, and then whatever fish they do catch, they can take back to Benning and have a fish fry with their company. And they did that last year. We
Go.
went, Troy and I went down back, I don't know, June, I guess it was, to Benning, and we talked to the regimental commander. And like, oh yeah, they had a fish fry over there and everything. I was like, oh, just the company, or did they share it? He was like, oh, it's just the company. I was like, see,
Hey.
the other company should come take part.
Yeah, they should.
They could come back with some crappie.
They should. They should. You are correct on that. My week was pretty uneventful, honestly.
Nah, it wasn't.
Oh,
Because it's the first weekend without the baby.
it is. Well, the oldest.
So, but still,
Yeah.
she's still I mean, we just had that discussion. She's still a
Yeah.
baby. She's
Yeah.
especially your wife. It's always going to be the baby. It doesn't matter if she's 50. She's
Yeah.
still going to be your wife's baby, right? She may not be the baby, but she's still going to be.
Yeah. So we moved her in on Tuesday, and let me tell you, that was an all day affair. Literally an all day affair, man. We left here at 06:15. We got to Richmond about 8, a little bit before, about 8:20. We had to get our real IDs, her and I. So we did that, and then move in started at 9:30 in the morning. So we get over to EKU, go get her key. That's the first thing you got to do. And then we went over to her dorm. And when you pull in, there's all the upperclassmen, the band. I think they were all from the band. What's going on, Frank? How are you, sir? From 06 Reveille. How are you? Brian Roof, how are you? And so they came to the truck. And it had rained that earlier in that day. So luckily I had a tarp over everything and, cargo net on top of everything. But it's still, some water got through, it still got through. So some stuff had a little bit of water on it. But other than that, getting the refrigerator up there, which, she's got one of those little refrigerators. It's probably it's got a little freezer on top and 2 drawers and
Like
stuff.
we had in the barracks.
Yeah,
A little bit bigger.
a little bit bigger than that. Yeah, a little bit bigger than that. And got that up there. Got her hutch, her desk hutch that we had to put together, and then we had to put together some other things, and got it all organized. But literally, it took forever. And then the wife and I, we left there probably about 10. And of course we went out to dinner, and then we had had to do some other things. But when we left and we got back on 75 North, there was a traffic jam. Literally, I think there was a cop that was like blocking all the lanes, but we were moving really, really slow.
Yeah. Rolling roadblock.
Yeah. And we got to a certain point, man, and it just like opened up. It was like, what the hell, man? But no, after that, dropping her off and getting back home and getting back into the groove of work. It is really, really, really hot. Rich LaMonica, what's up, brother? How are you, sir? And this is 06 Reveille here, this hat here. So Franco there is this 06 Reveille. There's Gunny's. He's got the black on black.
Yeah,
I went
man.
with green on green. So check out 06reveille.com and you can get your merch there. They got shirts, hats, a little bit of everything. Uh, and then check out Misfit Nation with Rich LaMonica. He's got a podcast that's amazing. Brian Roof with Every Day's a Saturday, USMC veteran. Check out that podcast as well. And then Frank DeMith is the author of Vital Interest. So speaking of authors, today we have Jon Flatt, who is an Army veteran. He was in, I think, Kabul and a few other places over there. So we're going to have him on. He wrote the book Smoke 'em If You Got 'em. And Gunny, I turned off my tracker just
Good.
because I turned it off. But yeah, Smoke 'em If You Got 'em by Jon Flatt. It's a memoir about the war that followed me home. And we as veterans, we know um, that we deal with our demons that follow us home. Like Gunny and I, when we first joined, got in the Marine Corps, when we went to Haiti, the stuff that we saw down there that came home with us, and then other stuff that happened during our time in the military followed us home. So that's something that we deal with on a daily basis. Here, I've been out since 2004, and I'm still dealing with demons. I think I have a pretty good grasp on them most days, but there are days, and I think we all know that we have our days. So, like Gunny's reset is going out fishing, mine's going out in nature. Whether it's going deer hunting or just going out and sitting in the woods and watching it wake up. So, so go check out "Smoke 'Em If You Got 'Em" by Jon Flatt. So let's be ready to bring him up, Gunny.
Absolutely.
Let's bring Jon up. Welcome, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
We are doing wonderful. Thank you for you're 5 hours, 5-6 hours ahead of us that they're in Ireland. Thank you for coming on and staying up and coming on and hanging out with us for at least 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, that's not construction paper on his windows. That's actually darkness that's happening over there right now.
It's very dark. No, it's a privilege, guys. I'm honored to be here and take part in what you guys are doing out there for all of us veterans. So,
well, thank you. If you don't mind, do me a favor and introduce yourself to the world of Homefront Sitrep, if you don't mind.
sure. Yeah. So I'm a veteran of Afghanistan. I went in 06, 07. I joined straight out of high school. I was 18 when I went to basic. Afghanistan at 19, 20. Came home and kind of tried to shove myself back into civilian life. I was a National Guard soldier, so when I got home, I kind of just got dumped back into life. Did college, finished college, had a child during that time, and started losing the battle to shoving it all back down. Eventually, at some point, about 2 years later, I kind of started to fall into just a different lifestyle that wasn't really dealing with things. So then I now am living in Ireland. My family and I found our way here just before COVID, and have been just kind of trying to find myself, find ourselves, if you will, and settle into a slower pace of life and focus on these last years with the kids. My oldest is 16 and our youngest is 11. So just us trying to get by.
So, how did you wind up in Ireland?
So my wife and I both worked from home for a while, and we were actually actively homeschooling our daughter, and we kind of we had bounced around a lot. Certain little events. We actually at the time lived in Puerto Rico, and Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico, and that kind of put us on the move, and it showed us that we could do this like moving month to month thing. So we then decided to try Ireland or try Europe and do that a little bit of that in Europe. And we got to Ireland, and the pace of life, the whole kind of focused on who you are, not what you do. That kind of different vibe just really spoke to us and connected. So we put our heads to like, hey, can we figure out a way to get here? So worked on immigration stuff, eventually got permission to move here. And we got here just before COVID, like January of 2020. And by March, everything was locked down. And so it kind of just dumped all of that on its head. And
Man.
yeah, that's how we got here.
Yeah, so not to get too personal, what was the process to move to Ireland from the States? We hear a lot of, you have, like for Canada, you have to have so much money in the bank, you have to have a job lined up, you have to have certain things, right? You have to apply, obviously, to go into. What was the process for you coming from the States going into Ireland?
Yeah, so it was actually, I tell people that ask, it was very difficult. I'm very lucky to have the situation that I had when I got here. The job I had at the time was with my dad's family business, and I had worked with it for about 6 years. They were looking to expand, so I was able to put in a bid with the IDA, which is the Irish, I don't actually know, some agency for expansion, and get their company approved by them, which then led to me being able to get a specialized work permit. So that work permit got approved through that. And then by September of the year I got here, they pulled that, the company pulled the expansion, and the IDA then was no longer supporting the work permit. And I was told we had like 3 months to leave. And it was in the middle of COVID. So there was a lot of processes. It wasn't easy. And it was probably the worst financial decision of my life. And yeah, so it was just a lot of paperwork, a lot of sitting in meetings, trying to convince people that I had my shit together, and I got pretty good at least looking like I did at the time.
So how do your kids like going to school in Ireland?
Yeah, so my daughter, she's 16. This is her home. She thinks this is the world of Ireland. She just likes it a lot. She feels at home. She doesn't want to leave. We kind of always knew about 10 or 11 she'd start to lock in. She's that type, and so we were hoping to be able to settle at that point. My son, on the other hand, he doesn't like it. He has his friends. He likes his friends, but we recently started homeschooling him, which is interesting because he'd never been homeschooled. But the school system just wasn't working for him, and it wasn't sitting well with the way he was kind of getting passed through. And he's obsessed with America. He tells us every day pretty much that as soon as he's allowed to move, he's moving back. We laugh because we don't necessarily have a problem with that. We probably end up joining him at some point down the line. We're not set here for life. We don't really look at things as long term. We're just one step at a time. But he's convinced that the U.S. has it all. So, and he's right for the most part. Like, it's very small here. There's not a lot of options, not a lot of selection. The things that we love are the things that he hates, so I can't blame him.
Right. So that's enough about like you moving to Ireland and everything. Let's talk about. All right, so you're serving in the military. What was your MOS in the military? What was your job?
Yeah, I was 11 Bravo, so infantry. Went to Fort Benning. Did that, and then as I was getting out, my last year and a half, actually MSQ'd or re-MS to 19 Delta, so Cav Scout, and did the last little bit with that little fancy spur ride and all that. But those were at the tail ends, and being a National Guard soldier, to be truthful, I was kind of high most of that time. I wasn't in a good space in life, so I don't necessarily count that as a qualifying anything. But so mostly during my deployment, I was infantry.
Nice.
Grunt work.
Nice. Yeah, gunning.
Shit, I was an infantry guy too for 9+ years until I moved. I had a forced lat move, and then I guess my ASVAB score was good enough. I went and worked on helicopters. So I say that I only have 3 hours on the aircraft. I was stressing people out too much that they decided to pull me upstairs and make me the squadron gunny, whatever that is.
Gunny was pulling out those knife hands too much.
That's fair enough. Yeah, grunt attitude doesn't fit all the other MOSs usually.
No. Not at all.
Yeah, I was infantry my whole time, and I hung out with some guys that were in, swinging with the wing, and I was like, there's no way I could do that because they were so lackadaisical. I'd be like Gunny. They would probably force me somewhere into a closet somewhere, and I don't think I could do it.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's
William
rough, man.
Stevens,
It
how are
was
you?
hard. It was hard.
So, le- so what made you decide to write a book?
Ah, demons. Yeah, just I was so it's a bit of a story. But I was with my daughter. Well, first we had a cat die, and I kind of in the middle of this trying to let my kids, or not even trying to show them how to grieve. It was very like rigid. It was very much like more now, and put it away. You've got to move on. Life has to go on. I was very militaristic about it, and I kind of saw myself doing it and thought like, what the hell is wrong with you? They're like 11 and 16. Let them be children. And I kind of broke a little bit in the moment. And then the next day, my daughter and I had she had a rugby tour in Portugal, so we had to leave, and we hopped on the plane and we left. And I just pushed everything down at that point, kind of stopped thinking about it, and got really drunk one night with an Irishman, and he was sitting there asking me questions and starts asking about my deployment, and that fear he's going to ask if I had ever killed someone or something like that. That all starts coming up, and I got real like cagey. And he just asked me like if I was ever scared, or what was the scariest moment, and then it just kind of started sinking in like how much that had influenced me. And it was like this series of events that kind of strung together. And I came home from that trip shook. I had spent the whole flight looking back through old videos and pictures of my deployment and just trying to like understand why I was still bothered by this conversation and the moments that had been going on. And decided to sit down and watch Restrepo and Citizen Soldier. So Restrepo is about the Korengal Valley, and I served just outside and around the Korengal, and a couple of my guys spent time in the Korengal. So I have a real connection to that, and it was the unit that replaced us is what's in Restrepo. So it was the year after us, and so it was close to home in that sense. That then Citizen Soldier is about a deployment I was supposed to go on, but I ETS'd and got out, and so I didn't end up going on this deployment. And a few of the guys that I knew well didn't come home from the deployment. So I knew I needed to watch these, and I was putting them off. And this stuff started happening, and it was kind of like bombs going off. And I forced myself to watch them. And when I got done, I just like I couldn't function. Like I just kind of disappeared. My wife gave me space. She'd been through it. We got married during my like halfway through my deployment on my 2-week block leave. So she'd been with me through all of it. So she'd seen the damage, if you will. So she gave me space, but the kids are there trying to figure out when's Dad gonna be normal again. And I just started writing, but it wasn't for a book. It wasn't for anything. I just started writing my stories, and it like every time I'd write something, I'd go back and read it to myself, and I'd break down emotional anger, whatever it was, just like these moments that I was feeling, and I couldn't actually grasp why they were having such an impact, because there were stories that had been living in my head. Like, why would they be shaking me to that point? So I just stuck with it. Took me about 2 weeks of just scribbling, writing constantly, just putting any thought I had down, writing it out. And I looked at it and I said, like, this is something. I don't know what to do with it yet, but this is more than just a couple of stories. This has turned into like a whole arc of about 15 years of processing that I had hidden. And I started to realize if I'd felt all this with a relatively minor combat experience, a relatively minor deployment. I don't mean to like minimize my experience, but I know a lot worse. A lot of my friends, my guys had it worse. I just realized if I felt all this, if I had experienced all this for the years after, so had they. And I started thinking like, okay, let's see. And I shared it with my parents, my brother, and my wife, and close people, and started to get a lot of feedback that like, hey, like we didn't know any of this, and it changes the way we see it a lot. So I said, okay, let's put it into something more. And yeah, that was the process.
So when you had your parents check this out and your family check it out, Was there ever a thought of they're not going to look at me the same, or
I,
are they going to feel bad about what I experienced and what I'm going through, and they didn't see the signs? Was there any of that going on within you?
yeah, a lot of it. Still, even now, when I hear about someone telling me they're going to pick it up, a friend or someone I know, I actually had a conversation with someone yesterday. I was like, well, it might change the way you think of me. Like, but with my parents, they'd been around for it all. Obviously, they'd been there, but I specifically talk about them, flinching and not knowing how to ask questions in it. And like, there's that weighed a lot on me. They didn't ever really push me to give them answers, and I didn't understand why they wouldn't. So there was a lot of that, and I kind of precursored it when I shared it with my parents, which I've tried to stop doing as much as I can. But letting them know, like, don't take this wrong. I'm okay. But both my parents contacted me and were like, I wish I'd known. I wish I'd known how to ask. I hope you understand. So yeah, there was a lot of that, and even with my wife, yeah, I'd say with everybody, it's been a process. It's been a lot of nerves, a lot of sleepless nights, wondering like what the hell was I doing. I kind of tricked myself into leaving it on Amazon. I did it to get the copy. I wanted the author's copy, and then I just left it and walked away. And every time I get contacted from someone, I wonder how they're going to feel. The biggest ones, though, honestly, family was big, but the buddies, like the army guys, my battle buddies over there, wondering how they're going to feel. A lot of them, like I said, some of them experienced worse. Kind of worrying, are they going to be like, oh, this guy, he didn't go through that much. Like, what is he talking about? Why would this have this impact? And um, a lot of them have reached out. A good number of them have reached out. And surprisingly, like, platoon leaders, platoon sergeants, um, team leader, and just to say, like, man, I was broken when I got home too, and like, I appreciate you putting this out there so honestly. So that a lot of apprehension. I still deal with it. It's still a moment. Like, every time I come onto a podcast or think about telling it again, I get worried. Like, who's going to think what? Because I mean, I got a few arrests in there, multiple drug habits, or addictions at points, and I just put it all in there. I didn't hide it. Like, I felt like if I was going to tell this story, people needed to see the real, like this shit, like, it's heavy and we carry it every day and it doesn't go away and it never will.
Yeah, the non-sexy stuff, right? The stuff that nobody wants to hear about, the stuff that no matter what the branch doesn't want to hear about, because that's not happening within this branch. We're
Yeah.
making sure we're doing what's right by the soldier, the sailor, the airman, the marine.
Exactly it.
And that they don't want to hear the truth of what's really going on within each person. No matter if you have the steps and tabs, you fill out that stupid piece of paper, that everybody lies on because you don't want to be looked at in a certain way, right? And then you just tuck it in and push it down and push it down and push it down. The trash gets full, man. The trash overflows, and when that does, it's bad.
Yeah, exactly. It comes out one way or another, and there's nothing sexy about healing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean that's with us veterans. I know and I've said this numerous times. Like, my wife and I, we've been together 23 years. We'll be married 20 years this November. And for the longest time, she never knew what I did in the military, the stuff that I saw. And when I started this podcast and I started telling my story to veterans that were on the show, that's when she started hearing bits and pieces. And I was like you, I didn't want to tell her the stuff that I seen when I was 19 years old or 18 years old in Haiti, and the things that I seen after that. And it's just like it. It's that's that stigma that we have to push forward. That we're not, I mean, we are broken to an extent, but we're not to the point where the people that love us the most are going to see us differently. But there are signs out there that we do show, that we as veterans, put out into the world so people can understand kind of the things that we're going through.
yeah.
So
I said it in a conversation recently to a guy. I said the Army taught me to kill, but they didn't teach me to heal. And I think that that's what we all have to do now, is we have to teach each other. that it's okay, and that like you said, we might be broken, but that brokenness doesn't like make us incapable of survival. Like, and the people who do care, that truly care, they won't flinch at that brokenness. They'll look right at it and say, well, that's made you who you are, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah, I took part in a panel. Man, it's been 3 or 4 years ago now, with a news agency out of Louisville, and it was just a bunch of veterans at a round table. And I say it all the time: is that for 9+ years, the Marine Corps trained me to locate, close with, and destroy the enemy. Period.
Mm.
Right. Even when I was on recruiting duty as a recruiter, I'm still an infantryman. Right. That your primary MOS doesn't go away just because you're on your B billet.
Yeah.
Off recruiting duty, same thing. Locate, close with, destroy the enemy. Locate, close with, destroy the enemy. And it's, I had 3 deployments before I met my wife. Then met her on recruiting duty, and then I had 2 combat deployments back to back. Back to Haiti in 2004 for a combat deployment, which turned into humanitarian, and then in 2005 right to Iraq. And 67 days in Iraq, blown up twice. I'm coming home. Right. So she's been with me through all the, I say, horrifying stuff. There's nothing that anybody can do short of going to the morgue and seeing dead body after dead body after dead body after dead body. Being exposed to these things to train your brain, because that's a lot of that stuff you're not supposed to witness. You're not supposed to see. Your brain's not properly wired to handle all that stuff, right? And I can just imagine, what the Vietnam guys went through with, the punji pits and the landmines and the bouncing betties and all this stuff that they went through in jungle warfare. I can't imagine, not at all. Just knowing what we went through in Iraq and Afghanistan. So, I mean, even my wife, she, nightmares, night tremors, whatever, and she's like, "Hey, wake up! You got to go deal with this some other way." So that's why I fish now. I grew up fishing with my grandfather, both my grandfathers actually, and if sometimes I'd go up behind the river behind the house and throw a line in and catch some bass or whatever else was swimming up the river at the time, and I got away from it when I joined the Marine Corps because it was all about the mission. It was all about being a Marine. It was all about, I got to be here for X, Y, and Z. And then it wasn't until, probably 2015, 2016 that I put a line back in the water again. And I felt different. I felt a way that I hadn't felt since I was a kid. And it brought me back to that. And then, the boat that I learned to fish out of, both of my sons learned to fish out of. We'd go back home to Maine and go fish with my grandfather out of the same 16-foot deep V Starcraft with an outboard on the same exact lake that I grew up on fishing. And now I go home and we go on to my mom's pontoon and we fish off of that in the same exact lake. But, it just, teaching my kids the things that I did when I was younger, the camping, being around the family, all that stuff. And I mean, we go on cruises and we do some other stuff, but man, the stuff that we see there, even fishing doesn't take it away, for that little short period of time when you're trying to catch a fish. But then you come off the water and that high comes down and all those demons are right there again. All those thoughts are there again. And then it's, man, I got to go fishing again.
Yeah, fishing. That's crazy. You talk about fishing like that. Fished with both my grandfathers growing up. Both of them lived or fished often in Maine and Massachusetts. So we have some connections there. Spent a lot of time on the boat with my grandfather. There's a chapter in that book about it. And I was like you, when I joined, I quit fishing. Like I occasionally, like when my grandfather was still alive, when I first got home, I went with him one more time. Then he passed, and he was a Vietnam vet, so he died mostly of Agent Orange complications. So when he passed, I stopped. Like I like occasionally, my brother would call me and we'd pop out or whatever, but it was just never on, like, it was never about me going fishing. And I mentioned being in Puerto Rico. When I got to Puerto Rico, I picked up a whole new type of fishing, started surf fishing, fly fishing at that, which I had never done. And I just like I couldn't really be alone, still quiet. These things, they had stopped for me. Like I just didn't like them anymore. If I found myself in those situations, it threw me off. I'd usually chain smoke my way through those times, and fishing was it. Like all of a sudden, I could be alone, out and quiet, see the surf coming in or whatever, and I wasn't checking my back. I wasn't looking around trying to figure out where things were at, and I reconnected to that child in me, and I was like, man, I can't ever stop. And I have, and I fish here all the time. At least twice a week, I'm on the river fishing for trout. Trout's what I cut my teeth on, so it's what I go back to, and they're everywhere here, so it's a great setup. But you're right, it's that disconnect, that reset that you need, and the demons do fade a bit. And then getting to bring my son out and my daughter, I've got to teach them both to fish the same way, and um, it kind of puts a smile in your heart, I guess, to be able to put your demons aside and get that time with the little ones, and even as they grow older.
Yeah, for sure.
That's when your kids get to see you being you, and you not worrying about the demons coming out. That I love when I get to take my kids out in the woods, and whether it's camping, which they, of course, they're girls. They don't really like camping, but they have gone. They did when they were younger. There was times where they're like, "Dad, let's set up a tent in the backyard." And I'm like, "Okay, let's do it." Because I was with them, and at that point, when I'm out in the woods, which I grew up, on 110 acres, and I love the woods. That's just always been my reset. It's going out in the woods doing whatever. But when I'm out there, I don't worry. I don't worry about somebody coming up behind me. I'm just, my mind is blank. I'm just focused on nature, and I'm glad that you're able to take your kids out fishing with you, which is one of the things that you do. And then the weekly calls that you do with veterans as well. So, do you take veterans fishing? Is that something that you're trying to get into? Uh, what
Yeah,
are you trying to do there?
yeah. So I got talking to some people I've got to know just after I wrote the book and released it, and starting to say, like, how do I plug myself back in? Like I mentioned to you before the call, I disconnected from the military. Like I just put it all behind me in the attempt to walk away from everything. So this has been really recent for me to bring it back up and start saying, like, how do I reach back across that line? Like, how do I go back and try to reconnect with these people, and maybe other people? So in that process, got thinking about ways I could. And so I started the weekly call. It's slow going. Obviously, a lot of people aren't probably going to jump at it right away. It's going to take time, and that's fine with me. But I also put out there to, I guess, foundational intent at this stage, like trying to get a fishing outreach, if you will, that I can start doing. Obviously, being in Ireland puts a bit of a damper on it, and not a lot of U.S. veterans find themselves in Ireland. And when they do, they probably have wives and families with plans that they want to go do and see. But my goal is to just offer, like, not a guide service, just a buddy to go fishing with, and hit me up, find me online, and if you want to go, if we want to get out and go trout fishing, I've got places that aren't easy to come by in Ireland. They're pretty stingy with their fishing licenses, especially to tourists. And just spend some time on the water and quiet, and not looking to be a therapist. I'm nowhere near equipped for that. Probably be dealing with my own needed therapy on the water with that person. But if I can set that up, my goal will be to just get a lot of, like, different gear sizes, and waders and rods, to have everything for people so that they can join me. I have a decent, like every fisherman, I have way too many rods for myself. So
No such thing. No such thing.
there you go. So I could equip some people. We can make it happen if it works out. But my goal would be, yeah, to just try to give someone that same space that's found me on the water, and show them maybe there is a way they can put things down and be in silence and quiet.
So we got Chris Elder, who is he runs Mill to Vet podcast. And
Okay.
he does other things. He says he'll be in Ireland next year.
I see that there. I'm out near Shannon. I saw the last one said he was in Shannon once before. I'm out near Shannon, so hit me up. Find me on social, and I will definitely meet up. We can make a
Well,
plan.
well, I'll get you and Chris Elder connected via email.
Perfect.
I'm sure he'll want to have you on his podcast as well. That
Right
way,
on.
when he does come to Ireland, if he's got time to go, he can go fishing. He lives up in Washington State. He's a retired Navy man. Uh,
Beautiful country.
so yeah, definitely. So, all right, what's next, Gunny? It's- I had a brain fart there for a
You
second.
always have a brain fart halfway during the show.
It happens.
So
It,
there are a lot of, I guess, organizations back here stateside that offer fishing adventures, right? So whether it's walleye up on Lake Erie or deep sea fishing or what's the one here, the fly fishing one.
the one here in Kentucky,
Yeah, I mean they've got it's national, but there's one here as well. It's
Project Healing
Healing
Waters.
Waters. Yeah,
Yeah,
Healing Waters does a lot of fly fishing stuff, and man, that alone, just the art of fly fishing, from no matter what you're fishing for, whether it's salmon, whether it's um, grayling, whether it's trout, just trying to figure out that the rhythm,
yeah.
drying off your fly, putting it back on the water, letting it float, feeding some line out, playing with the fish. Yeah, I caught a really, really nice brown trout. I guess it's been 4 or 5 years ago. Not for me, for a guy. There was a buddy of mine who was struggling, like really struggling, trying to on the fly fish. And I was like, just give it to me. And I kept putting it right on the fish's nose. And I finally got him to follow it. He goes, man, I'm just going to move down there. I'm like, well, give me one more. And I put it out there, and I watched him bite into it, and I just set the hook. I'm like, you're going to want that one. And it was a really nice brown trout. I mean, it was everybody that was out there with us that day took a picture with that fish. I'm like, you're going to go tell all your friends that you
Yeah.
took a picture, that you caught that fish. Come on now. Be real.
So
But yeah, I'm going to be over in Europe next year as well, but I don't think I'm going to make it to Ireland. I'm going to be Netherlands and France and doing all that stuff.
so here's the thing that I want to maybe think. So you want to you want to have veterans come over to Ireland, go fishing. So maybe if you partner with a stateside nonprofit that does fishing, and you can offer, maybe a place for the veterans to come hang for a day or two, and you take them out fishing. Maybe that's something that you can look into. I'm sure, if a one of the nonprofits out there is like, hey, I got a trip that will pay for you to go to Ireland to go fishing with an Army veteran. I mean, that's
Or
something.
if you're in Ireland and want to fish,
Yeah,
Yeah.
type deal.
I love that idea. Like partnering is a great option for reaching more people. And obviously, part of what I'm trying to figure out is like I'd love to be able to fly people out here. And I have a good buddy of mine who we didn't serve together, but we grew up together, and we both went to Afghanistan on different tours. And he was like, "Man, I'd love to come out there. I can't get the funds, so like it'll have to be down the line. But like I'd love to be able to get to the point where I'm raising funds or have some sponsors or people willing to bring people out and set up a kind of week of it. Like I've access to a lot of different fishing. I've friends that fish here, whether it be trout or ocean fishing or spin fishing, fly fishing, whatever you want to do. I've done it all. So to me, like it's all very much in the infancy stage, and I'm just looking for avenues to kind of grow it. But I have a vision with it, and I know what it's done for me, so I know what it can do for others.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I take guys fishing every year. Um, we try to target tuna, and sometimes Mother Nature doesn't cooperate up in the Northeast because we're right at the end of May, beginning of June timeframe when we're fishing. So unless that Gulf Stream has moved in and brought the cold, I guess the warmer water right up from the south, those tuna aren't moving up that way yet. You got to go 90, 100 miles offshore to get it. But if we're not targeting tuna, we're targeting shark. So brown shark and mako and blue and thresher and whatever else. No matter what, you're on the water trying to catch something.
Yeah.
Right. And then a lot of the guys that volunteer their time to take these guys and gals out have rigs for whitefish and sea bass and trigger, and they'll go in the back of the bay for some flounder if nothing's happening on big water. So they try to get guys and girls on the fish, but it's the fishing's the bonus, right? Being out there with other guys and gals that have experienced similar things that you have, and to get them to open up, right, and get them out of their headspace is the main goal at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think partnering with one of the organizations local or local to the U.S. And there's many of them out there. Like Gunny named quite a few of them earlier, and just partnering with them and say, hey, this is something that I want to do, and see how they could partner with you to make it happen. I think it's something it's possible.
That's a great idea. I'll definitely be looking into that tomorrow and the next day to try to kind of figure out what that looks like, because I'd love to do that.
Yeah. So Frank has a question. Does anyone go fishing for catfish anymore? When I was growing up, eating catfish was like eating lobster.
Don't compare a catfish to lobster. Come on, Frank. No freaking way. I mean, I guess if you don't grow up in Maine and you have the access to lobster like I had,
yeah,
you might compare a lobster to a freaking catfish, but absolutely not. Actually, Frank, honestly, I've gone and targeted big blues down on Lake Wheel or Lake Wilson down in Alabama. And I think, man, I caught twins. It was like 18 and 18-1. So they weren't massive. There was a lady that was out with us that day with the group. I think hers was 50 and change. Big old blue cat. But yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of people that throw out a trout line and do the catfishing. But yeah, it's called Bob Chin's restaurant, and they fly the fish and seafood in every single day.
So we do a lot of catfishing here in Kentucky, especially Nolan Lake. I remember my granddad back in the early or late 80s, early 90s would go out, set the trout lines, and we'd have a big fish fry, catfish at the end of the year. That and bluegills, big pan-sized bluegills. So we still do a lot of catfishing down on Nolan, which I think that you can't really set trout lines anymore. But I used to. Now you say that now, Frank, that I'm the man, but I don't eat fish anymore. Like I used to eat fish all the time, but I eat no seafood, no fish, no. Yeah, I don't do it anymore.
I got a Vietnam brown water Navy friend of mine who still catfishes like no other. And that's all. I mean, we'll go. I've taken him walleye fishing. I've taken him big water fishing. We've gone down to Okeechobee. We've done some crappie fishing. And all that dude wants to do is talk about these stupid freaking catfish. I'm like, bro, there's much better fish
to
eat than a catfish. I mean, we've been to Alaska together and fished for monster halibut and sockeye salmon and coho, and he wants to talk about friggin' catfish.
If you ever take me on any of those trips, I'll never talk about catfish.
Frank says, "Oh my God, what happened to you? I'm saddened by your words." I'm surprised Gunny didn't play that. What you talking about, Willis?
What you talking about, Willis?
Let's see, got it.
Yeah, I mean, it. Michael will eat perch. He'll eat walleye, but we think my youngest has a fish allergy. And so to even put it in, the fryer or whatever, We just don't eat it here at the house. So I've got a ton of fish in my freezer, and it all gets given to the neighbors. Or like I said, there's a ton of walleye going down to feed, rangers from 375 that are coming in for the Mogadishu Mile.
October 4th.
Yeah, man.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm only there half a day. I got to go jump a plane and catch a cruise.
Nice. What cruise you going on?
We'll talk offline.
Oh, okay. Well, Mr. Jon Flatt, I know it's 1 a.m. your time, or almost 1 a.m. your time. Is there anything that? Well, first off, where can people find your books? Smoke them if you got them.
Yeah, so sell it on Amazon, all over, like around the world. And if you're in a situation where you don't want to buy it, I'll send you a digital manuscript. Like I'm not here for trying to make money off of it. To me, it's really about getting it out there. Obviously, it's for sale, so I wouldn't mind making some money. We're all working here, but if you don't have the funds, or you don't want to buy it and you want to read a digital manuscript, you can find a button on my website that lets you ask me for that directly. So yeah, Amazon's the main source right now. I might do it otherwise, but shipping from Ireland logistically wasn't going to earn any money at all. So
right. And then you can also go check out jonflattauthor.com. That's JONFLATT author.com. That's his website, so you can go check that out. What was you gonna say, Gunny?
The Fallen Outdoors. They've got, oh my goodness, chapters everywhere.
Yeah.
Check with them. I know the guy that runs Virginia is a guy that Willis and I served with. The guy that runs Illinois right now is a guy that I met in Montana fishing.
Montana Warriors on the Water would be a good one too.
It's a great organization. So yeah, check the Fallen Outdoors for sure.
Okay. Yeah, sure, we'll do.
Montana Warriors on the Water. Who's the one that was out in Washington State? Not the Fallen Outdoors, but there was another one.
Well, I just know the Fallen Outdoors has their national chapter plus state chapters, and then Project Healing Waters has their national and state chapters. So and they're bigger than some of the other ones.
So Mr. Frank DeMith, who's an author that wrote a Vital Interest, and then he has a second book out as well, said he just ordered one of your books. Can't wait to read it. Wish you all the best, John.
Thank you, Frank. Glad to hear that.
Yeah, so Frank is a accomplished author as well. I'm sure he'll give you some constructive criticism or praise. But Frank is amazing. He's the what do we call Frank? He's the grandpa, right?
Grandpa.
Sam? Yeah, he's grandpa.
Well, I'm lower enlisted, so I'll take constructive criticism and treat it like praise all day.
So you learned that one quick.
Definitely. My wife is watching. Hi, babe. She just joined. But John, I want to thank you again. Tell you, I know your wife and kids are probably sleeping, but tell them thank you for allowing you to come on here from us to hang out with us for this hour. Because I know you could be using your beauty sleep at the present moment in time.
Nothing's getting any better at this stage, so
it all goes downhill after 30. So.
Yeah. No, guys, I really appreciate you having me on. Honestly, it's been a privilege. Just even being able to keep up with you guys and watch what you're doing out there. It's cool to have a place to talk about the reality of what we're all going through and what we've all been through. So I hope that this book somehow reaches people and lets them see, whether they're previous veterans themselves or they have loved ones or people they cared about, just lets them see maybe behind some of the curtains on what's actually happening in our heads, and maybe help some people realize that they're not the monster they might have convinced themselves they are. And that there's something better out there for them if they can just hold on long enough to get there.
I love it, man. I love it. Thank you, brother, for coming on here and hanging out with us. What was you going to say there, Sam?
That's your.
I love it, man. I love it.
All right, brother. We're gonna drop you down in the green room. If you want to go ahead and go, that's up to you, or you can wait till the end, and we'll bring you up after we end the show. That's up
All
to
right,
you.
Can't let the
sounds
man
good,
go
man.
to sleep.
I let him go to sleep.
Sounds
Thanks,
good, guys.
John.
Sitting here
Cheers.
for another 10 or 15 minutes while we run our sucks.
Right.
Let the man go to bed. Come on now.
Oh man.
It's
So
different if he's, 1 hour, right? If he's in Nova Scotia or something, but man, he's 5-6 hour difference across the
yeah,
pond.
definitely. Did you see what Julie just said?
He said Eastern.
No, has he said?
No,
No.
not tonight, not yet. And now he's not going to.
Nope. I'm
He's
a
not
I'm
gonna
a
Eastern it.
enunciate. I'm
He's
a
not-
enunciate.
Yeah. He's
So
gonna make sure he
James
gets it right.
James Thornton just says the tour schedule for the Global War on Terror Traveling Wall Memorial will be announced in the coming weeks and will include stops in Richmond, Indiana, Shepherdsville, Kentucky. Local organizations and community leaders will have the opportunity to host the memorial, providing a focal point for remembrance events and education initiatives. So,
I've got so much stuff going on the next few freaking weekends. I want to get up to the Fudge Factory and take the kids because they've never been. The wife's been to the one in Missouri, but I definitely want to take the kids out to the one in Richmond.
I don't know. I can't remember if my wife went to when she traveled back from California. I think she was in Uranus. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I think so.
Uranus.
Yeah, Uranus.
No, Uranus.
Oh man, but no, it's tomorrow. Who do we have coming on tomorrow?
Nobody, because you've got Marine Corps League meeting.
Oh yeah, I got the Marine Corps League tomorrow. Are you doing an episode?
Hell no, I'm taking the day off too, brother.
All right.
I got to get ready for fishing. I got to pack. I got to put man. So I thatched the lawn today, and it was bad, like real bad. I think we took 3 or 4 cartloads of dead ass grass, and I'm like, I'm not raking this stuff no more. I went and bought a sweeper that you pull behind the mower. That's when you know you're getting old.
Yeah.
You're buying all these fancy things so you don't have to do the manual labor anymore.
Well, so you haven't seen my yard, but the wife is will do, James. I got a ride mower for my yard, right? And my wife's like, just get a push mower. I'm like, I'm too old to use a push mower.
Man, I got 3/4 of an acre and I use a 0 turn.
Yeah, no, I just got an old school ride mower. I almost look like Forrest Gump.
I had a 2005 Craftsman, and it just started acting up. So I gave it across my neighbor across the street because he's got an orchard. He's going to use it at the orchard. Yeah. All he had to do is tighten up the friggin' exhaust manifold, and it works fine.
Mine's a Craftsman. I believe mine's a Craftsman. Yeah. It's red. Yeah, I believe it's a Craftsman.
Mine was gray. That's how old mine was. That's a Craftsman. Gray. It wasn't red. It wasn't. They hadn't switched to red yet.
Okay. I got you. Well, Gunny, it is that time of night. Let's see. So next week on the 20th, next Sunday, we have Not Service Connected with Tony Riggs. Then we have Sean Murphy, who is MrMotivator.com. And then we have our Tip of the Spear on the 27th. So we'll have 3 episodes that week.
This month went quick.
Yes, it has, man. It has gone really fast. The 31st, we don't have anything scheduled yet. But do you know who General Kelly is?
Like
the General Kelly might be coming on the 31st. Don't know yet. That's with MOA. We're partnering with MOA, Military Officers of America. So we're waiting on word from his assistant what days he's picked or what day he picked. But we will possibly be talking with General Kelly. Super excited about that. I wasn't expecting General Kelly, but I'll take General Kelly for sure. So just don't know what day yet. So be on the lookout for that.
Julie says that's Labor Day.
Oh,
she's right. Yeah, that Monday.
Oh, it is. No, it's a Sunday, the 31st.
Yes, Monday's Labor Day.
Yeah, Monday's Labor Day. Yeah, and I don't have anything scheduled. Yeah, so as of right now, we haven't. Labor Day weekend is open. I know my daughter's birthday is September 2nd, so Monday for sure. And I'm hoping nothing. We don't get anything scheduled for Labor Day on the 31st. But if General Kelly says that's the day he picks, might have to go do a podcast that day on the 31st.
Yeah.
My wife says, "Listen to me, sir. You said no podcast." I did. You're right. But it is that time of night, Gunny.
It is, man.
I got meatloaf cooking. I got to get the rest of it.
I made steak kebabs, potato, corn, sliced up a cucumber, threw it in some vinegar with some salt and pepper.
Nice.
Made some. I'm gonna say I put some Cheesecake Factory mini rolls
Nice.
in the oven to warm them up, and we had that. The ones, the brown ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, my boys, forever they've called it chalky bread, and they still call it chalky bread because it looks like chocolate. Look, I want some of that chalky bread. I'm like, you got to realize what the name of that stuff is now.
Yeah, that's funny. Grace, my oldest, used to call popcorn because she couldn't say pop. So
Yeah, couldn't do
popcorn. The P. Yeah, so she always said popcorn. She says there. She goes, I opted out of going to Richmond. I was having a crisis.
Yeah, we discussed that.
Yeah, we did discuss that you didn't to go. But anyway, it is that time of night. Comments keep coming in. Thanks, John, for coming on and hanging out with us, buddy. We really enjoyed it. I can't wait to read the book. I can't wait for it to be on Audible too, to make it a little bit easier for me to read.
Hell no! I mean, I opened it up for the first time, while he was on.
Yeah,
and I'm like, hey, I mean, I'm gonna take it on the cruise with me. I'm gonna read it on the cruise.
There you go.
I'm moving that book in front of my other one.
Ooh, nice. All right, Gunny, this is you, my friend.
Yeah, you're not alone. You still have worth. You still have value. Don't let the dark days win. Surround yourself with people that are going to build you up and not tear you down. And you don't have to be a product of your environment that you grew up in.
I'm going to throw this in there. Not as elegant as Gunny, but I'm going to throw it in there. In the silence of your struggles, remember, though unseen, you are deeply held in the hearts of others. You are not alone. And man, you just reach out, man. If you're out there, you're struggling, reach out to your battle buddy. Reach out to somebody. Gunny, talking about the roulette wheel with your phone.
And that's coming up, man.
All right, you got it. I ain't gonna say it. Hashtag be somebody's stranger. Listen, guys, we as humans, we're more apt to talk to a complete stranger than the ones we love the most. I said it earlier. My wife and I have been together for 23 years, and she has learned a lot more about me in the last 5 years than she did in the first 15. So be somebody's stranger. If you're out and about and you see somebody and it looks like they're having a bad day, go up to them and say, hey, how you doing? And if they give you the red flags, I'm okay, I'm hanging in there, I'm living the dream, ask the next hard question. How are you really doing? But be ready for that conversation. Could be a 5-minute conversation, could be an 8-hour conversation. You have to be ready for it.
Takes a village. Use your people. Willis almost ruined it earlier, but I have 2 really good friends that used to be teammates of mine on Team Fast Tracks, and met up with them a couple weeks ago for the first time in probably a year or so. And they talked about doing cell phone roulette, right? Just going to your contacts, scrolling down, just picking one and checking in on them. Sometimes you need to be the one that reaches out too.
Yeah, you definitely got to reach out.
Yep. Use your people.
James, all right, I see. All right. Big shout out to our partners, Heroes Media Group, Reese Across America Radio, Military United Podcast Streams, Elite Engraving, Valor Coins and Pins. Hopefully here soon we'll be partnered with MOA as well. Don't know the whole what everything's entailed with the partnership yet with MOA, but it's coming. Super excited about that. I know they got some big things coming up, so I'm super excited about that. Also, same flag, same oath.com, got your six culture. Matt and Becky, small veteran owned t-shirt company out in Katy, Texas. So go check out same flag, same oath.com, which is scrolling across the bottom of the screen. So go check that out. Also, go check out HomeFrontSitrep.com. That's our website. Our hats on there, our shirts on there. We get a percentage of each sale at the end of the year. What Gunny and I have decided to do when we get that check, we're gonna put all these nonprofits on a wheel. We're gonna spin it. Whoever it lands on gets one check. Then we're gonna take them off the wheel, spin it again. Whoever it lands on gets the other check. We're not going to keep a penny of that. It's going straight to a nonprofit that we recommend and that we support. Could be Montana Warriors on the Water. Could be Kentucky Wounded Heroes.
Warriors Honor Cruise. I see Rich in the comments.
Yeah,
there.
Warriors Honor Cruise. It could be any one of those. So go check out HomeFrontSitrep.com. Also, if you love to learn how to fly fish or just to tie a fly, check out cavarts.org. If you're into leatherworking, metal forging, go check out cavarts.org. It's Challenge America Veterans in the Arts. It's art therapy. If you want to learn how to play guitar, there's guitars for vets on there. So go check that out. Also check out Reese Across America here. I'll throw the link on the screen. ReeseAcrossAmerica.org/radio. HomeFront Sitrep is on there Thursday nights, 11 p.m. Eastern. I'll make sure I enunciate. Just, but yeah, go check out Reese Across America Radio. My Lord, who taught you to say guitar? That's my wife.
That's phenomenal.
That's phenomenal. But anyway, it's that time of night. Like we always say on HomeFront Sitrep, stay safe out there. We got
your six.
Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcast.
Stay safe out there. I got your six.